rapid loss and encourage actions to conserve and restore them. Therefore, the idea is to create awareness and encourage people to understand these critically important ecosystems. And the Puducherry NVSUB, in coordination with the NVS partner from Annamalai University, has brought this webinar to emphasize the vital role of wetlands for our people and for our solar system, we can say, at least for our planet. Certainly, this webinar is going to raise more awareness on how we have to sustainably maintain and conserve this ecosystem. And the speakers from the recognized institutes will be delivering their lectures. So the participants, involve yourself, and it is our duty and responsibility to save this ecosystem, not only for us, but our future generation also. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity provided.
So now we move on to the introduction of the speaker. The first speaker is Dr. P.S. Harikumar. His profile is like he's a senior principal scientist and head of ecology environment research group, Center for Water Resource Development and Management, Calicut, India. Dr. Harikumar sir holds a PhD from Cochin University of Science and Technology and has made his postdoctoral researches in KTH Royal Institute of Technology, Stockholm, Sweden. And he is a member of Technical and the Grievance Committee, Kerala State Wetland Authority, and an expert member of Kerala State Wetland Authority, and also a member of Food Safety Standards Authority of India, Government of. He has a vast experience in the formulation and the implementation of research, consultancy, but training projects on various topics related to water quality management, wetland studies, urban water management, with financial support from international and national level agencies like UNDP, DST, and UNICEF. Dr. Harikumar sir is also presently working on the ongoing project on monitoring of microplastics in selected coastal wetlands of Kerala, which is funded by the CWRDM and Integrated Wetland Inventory Assessment and Monitoring Systems of 3 Ramsar sites of Kerala, which is funded by the Kerala State Wetland Authority. He has over 50 national and international publications and several books and chapters of publications in his name. Sir, I welcome you, sir. Now the digital platform is open to hear your talk, sir.
Okay, thank you. I think you can hear me now.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so I will share my screen.
Please.
Can you, is it okay? The slides are visible?
The slides are visible, sir.
Okay, okay. So, good afternoon to all of you on this auspicious day of this World Wetland Day. All over the world, we are actually, in fact, observing the World Wetland Day. As the maybe introductory speech, the speakers already told that the importance of wetlands and the need to conserve these wetlands. So, in fact, today it's maybe one of the most auspicious day for India, because now 2 of our wetlands have been declared as Ramsar sites today by the convention of this wetlands. So presently we have today 49 wetlands under this Ramsar sites because of this maybe internationally important wetland. And but declaring these wetlands as Ramsar sites, actually that also bring a lot of responsibility on maybe Indian government also, because they have to conserve and manage and restore these wetlands also. It should not be degraded, and our duty is to, in fact, maybe conserve or protect these wetlands. That's the importance of maybe declaring these wetlands as Ramsar sites. And I think one of these wetlands is Gujarat and another is in Orissa. because of the lot of the presence of migratory birds. These wetlands have been put into Ramsar site today by the International Convention, and we are all happy that we have now 49 wetlands under this Ramsar site. Maybe the coming days, one more wetland will be under this Ramsar site, and we will be having our 50th maybe wetland under this Ramsar site, and we have to have more responsibility in preserving or conserving our wetlands. So as already it has been told, no, today's the topic is on wetland action for people and nature. And every year, in fact, February 2nd, we are celebrating as World Wetland Day, because there are so many reasons are there, and we should be very maybe careful that we have maybe a land of wetland to protect and conserve, so that it should be preserved for the future human also, no. So this is an annual opportunity to unite for wetland, because we are actually remainder of conserving, or it's a remainder or a tag for conserving the wetlands. So this is a maybe event that highlights the awareness of critical importance of wetland to people and the planet. And now actually this is being declared even globally also as a maybe important day, because United Nations also has been, or United Nations General Assembly also adopted it as an international day. And one of the most important thing is that this is a particular day on which a particular entity of a maybe ecology has been maybe celebrated as a wetland day. We will be celebrating, or we are already celebrating World Water Day, World Environment Day, but there is no such maybe this kind of a day for a particular kind of ecology or ecological entity of our earth on this wetland, because that's the importance of this wetlands. It's only maybe only one devoted to a specific ecosystem, that is called, we will call it as a wetland. So it has been, that is why now United Nations United Nations General Assembly adopted it as an international day. So as we know that 2022 theme is wetland action for people and nature. So this is an urgent call for greater investment of financial, because wetland conservation and its management needs a lot of financial maybe aspect, a lot of money has to be put into it, but maybe human mankind is also needed for its conservation, and also political willpower is should be there for actually bringing back the wetlands into its original state. A lot of encroachment has been taken place, lot of degradation has been taken place, but to bring it to the original state, we may require the action from the people, action from the maybe government, action from the political side. All these things only together will be conserving the wetlands, and that is why we are maybe observing for on this wetland day. So coming to, already it has been also told now, the 35% of the world wetlands have been lost since 1970, and that's in fact the thing about even Indian continent also. It is found that 45 to 50% of the already existing wetland for the last 100 years have been lost because of so many maybe reasons. Earlier, in fact, historically, wetlands have been considered as wastelands, because people think that it is of no use, so they can actually invade these wetlands, they can do the construction, they can do whatever they want, they can dump any type of waste in the these wetlands. So that has actually deteriorated our the wetlands which has been present all over maybe India. But for example, in Kerala, we have a very important Ramsar site called Vemanad, called wetland system. But over the last so many years, so many constructions have been carried out. A road has been constructed in the middle of, or maybe cutting the center portion of this Vemanad for even Cochin Port Trust and so many other activities to construct an island there. So all these activities have been maybe done to reclaim the wetlands, and around 45 percentage of this wetland has been reclaimed because of this type of human activities. So in a nutshell, we can say that all these wetlands, not only in India, all over the world, so they are disappearing 3 times faster than forest when we take into account the wetland area in all over the world. You can see the graph shown here, how much area has been maybe declining over the years. So these wetlands dependent on plants, species and animals are at risk of extinction. So these many extinct species of plants, animals, and other maybe living resources are also present in these wetlands, and they are all at risk when we are actually going to fill these wetlands or it is getting reclaimed. And again, human well-being, livelihood, and the health of plants are also threatened due to this reclamation of these wetlands. All these are happening over the years, and it is a time to stop these type of activities or maybe we have to regain these type of wetlands so that this can be used for further application or further livelihood activities. That is a very important thing when we talk about this wetlands. Then we will look into what are the drivers of wetland loss and its degradation. There are so many reasons are there for this type of degradation of these wetlands. Already we found that the filling of this wetlands is one of the most important thing, like draining and infilling is one of the most important activity which is taking place. Then over extraction of water from these wetlands, another important kind of activity. Pollution is a problem because all the areas, even industrial dumping or even domestic dumping of waste, all these are taking place. Municipal maybe this wastewater discharge without any treatment is directly discharging into these wetlands. Overfishing is another kind of activity, and it is found that all over the wetlands in many parts of India, in the number of fishes in all the years are declining because it is getting over exploited these wetlands. And another threat which is wetlands are facing is climate change. That's a very recent phenomena which we are all not able to predict the maybe incoming the changes in the extreme climate. Whether it can be rainfall, it can be drought, it can be some other activities. So all these are actually unpredictable nowadays. No, so all these are some of the sustainable use of the wetlands which have been affected by these type of drivers of wetland loss and degradation. So in nutshell, we can say that the sustainable use of wetlands requires an understanding of the drivers of wetland loss and degradation so that the root causes can be addressed. So when we are going to address or we are going to address the particular wetland in a particular area, these what is actually causing the degradation of the wetlands also have to be studied, and we have to find out the solution for these kind of things, whether it is due to training and infilling, or whether it is due to extraction of or over abstraction of water from a particular wetland. One example is even in Kerala, we can say that there's a freshwater lake called Shasangota now. Shasangota, in fact, it is serving the water to a municipal town. Now it's a corporation called Kollam. And in fact, for the so many years, it was actually giving the water to that corporation, and the corporation is drawing water from this Shasangota. But the last so many years, what happened was that the nearby panchayats also started to abstract the water from this particular Shasangota. So during the drought period, especially during the months of February, March, April, the wetland got actually dried up because of the over abstraction. And everywhere actually there should be some type of there's a carrying capacity is there, some supporting capacity is there. If you are going to actually abstract this water over and above its capacity, then of course the wetland will be facing a lot of issues, problems also. So it is going to tied up during those period of time. So this is the phenomena called without any study or without any management action plan, when we are going to maybe put the wetlands into that type of pressure, that will be facing that type of some of the issues also. Pollution also the same thing. pollution material is actually increasing to a more certain extent. For example, there are a lot of wetlands. We can see that the infestation of weeds are taking place, and the it is getting eutrophication because of the presence of sorry potassium, then phosphorus or nitrogen pollution, or even sulfate pollution. All these are happening because of this domestic pollution or maybe municipal pollutants which are being received by these wetlands. So that is actually resulting in the this pollution problems, or maybe finally it is leading to the what to say the eutrophication of these wetlands and the lakes also. Then of course the overfishing, and as I already told, one of the another reason is of course this climate change. So it's in fact the wetlands currently cover around roughly 6% of the Earth's land surface, and they can be saltwater, freshwater, inland, coastal, natural, or human-made. So there are different classes of wetlands are there. So that may comprise of our total wetlands. So this freshwater wetland include rivers, river channels, then lakes, pools, floodplains, peatlands, marshes, swamps. Saltwater wetlands include estuaries, mudflats, saltwater marshes, mangroves, lagoons, coral reefs. Human-made wetlands include fish ponds, reservoirs, rice paddies, then the salt plants. And these are all some of the types of wetlands which are actually occurring in now. So in nutshell, actually, in fact, there's a definition by Ramsar and also our Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change. We are defining wetlands as a marsh, fen, peatland, or water, whether natural or artificial. It can be either natural or it can be artificial also. There are so many artificial wetlands are there. An example is there are so many reservoirs are there now. Like our Banasura Sagar is an example of in what to say Wayanad district now, and it can be permanent or temporary with the water that is static or flowing, fresh brackish or salt, including areas of marine water, depth of which the criteria is that the depth of which at lotted does not exceed 6 meters. That's the definition now. If it is more than 6 meters, we can define that particular water body as a wetland, but it should be within that 6 meters. The area can be now actually small wetlands are there, large wetlands are there, maybe more than 15 hectares of wetland area we can maybe see in so many areas. But there are so many thousands of wetlands having area of less than maybe 5 hectares are also present. And all these have to be protected and managed and conserved. So this is actually the broad definition, like maybe land areas that are flooded with water either seasonally or permanently. Need not be always. It should be watered. There can be water at maybe some period of time, maybe during that monsoon period, but during that non-monsoon period, they need not have the flood. But it should actually, in fact, some biodiversity value should be there associated with that those type of water bodies also now. Then inland wetland types like marshes, ponds, lakes, coastal. Already it has been told. The mangroves are maybe classified as the coastal wetlands. Then the saltwater marshes, estuaries, even coral reefs are also there. Like in Lakshadweep, we can see this type of thing. And but these Lakshadweep islands are protected in some other ways. But these are coming under this wetland types. Man-made wetlands include fish ponds, salt plants, rice field. But paddy field have been now excluded from the wetland definition by our Ministry of Environment and Forest. But in Kerala, this has been protected under our Paddy and Wetland Act. So that is still coming under protection of these wetlands. And it can be maybe size can be from 1 hectare to Penellan in Brazil, Bolivia, Paraguay, and 3 times the size of Ireland. So these are the different sizes of this wetlands, which is all over present in globally. So as already I told you that there is some little bit difference of everywhere actually. In fact, in the depth should not be exceeding 6 meters. That's the most important thing. And fields and the coastal wetland covered under the of India in the Ministry of Environment and Forest. And again, that should not be influenced by rivers like shorelines and coral reefs or maybe examples of this coastal wetlands. Estuary is a typical example where actually in fact these rivers meet the sea and the water changes from fresh to salt at it meets salt marshes. Then the floodplains areas next to the permanent course of a river that edge of the valley. That's actually some floodplain areas. Then the marshes maybe any permanent water with a little flow. Then it should not be that much flow. Will be there during maybe it can be perennial or non-perennial. Perennial type of shallow lakes can also like so many ponds. It can be salt or freshwater lakes which are seen in parts of world. Seen all over the maybe Indian subcontinent and other parts of the world. Then these are flood rivers and floodplains were actually classified as this wetlands. Then salt plants as these are rich in biome when we are talking about this salt flats. So many type of living organism we can see species of system. These type of systems where actually it's a very important the living organism is surveying, and you can see the high biodiversity value in these type of reef systems. These are all considered as the wetland to be protected and conserved. Then artificial wetland. So these are some of the areas you can see a reservoir where actually in fact it is also considered as one of the wetland no in Kerala, and I think Pondicherry also you may be having some reservoir where actually in fact you can actually regard it as some of the area where the can be considered as a wetland area of a protected nature. And there are so many other type of artificial wetlands are there with man is actually in fact creating certain wetland area in many parts for so many other purposes like aquaculture activities. A large area of aquaculture activities being done in some areas, and that is being considered as some artificial wetlands also. So coming to the what is happening if wetlands are maybe lost, and that is in fact that will affect the people and the planet. No, one most important thing is that our water security will be affected. As already I told you that there are so many examples are there where actually fresh water is being taken from these wetlands. So many of the wetlands are there like freshwater wetlands. They provide fresh water to almost all the period of time to lakhs of people in and around that particular area. And the second thing is that the wetlands are acting as a Earth's kidney, or it's actually silt salt rich soil, and plants filter against harmful